I got a mama who loves westerns. Any of y'all got a parent or grandparent who loves westerns? Hmm? If you do, and if you watched any TV with them or watched any movies with them, you may have seen a film called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Okay. See, my mama used to love that movie. Okay. My mama used to love that movie. And that phrase always stuck with me. It does. Okay. Because you can pretty much look at any situation and figure out what's the good, the bad, and the ugly about it. Okay. And I've been thinking about that with numerous things. Matter of fact, I got a video coming out later on uh entitled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Integration. Okay. When I drop that, make sure y'all check that out. But right now, I want to talk about this transfer portal and talk to y'all about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the transfer portal. And I say this after Jackson State's Niles Gaddy has transferred. We've also had some other guys do the same during this recent period. Of course, in that first period when Prime left, we had a bunch of guys leave with him. But just now, we just had Niles Gaddy leave. And also, most notably, we know that the starting running back from last year, Savion Wilkerson, is departing as well. Okay, but across the country, programs are dealing with this. Okay, it's the wild, wild west. So we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Okay, but before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing to hit that button. You understand? I am your homeboy first, and this is the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game. Put it on something. Make sure you put all your people on it. Okay. Because I say things you're not going to hear anywhere else. Okay. But let's talk about it. First off, let's start with the good. Let's start with the good. Because there is something good about the transfer portal. And I don't want to seem like one of those fans who's just upset that he lost some good players and now he's railing against the transfer portal. No. Okay. I do see value in the transfer portal. Okay. And one of the valuable things about the transfer portal is this. You can transfer if your coach leaves. Like if the guy who recruited you leaves, you can leave without having to sit out a year. That's good. That is good. I've seen the other side of that. I'll give you an example. Okay. Y'all know from my undergraduate studies, I went to Southern Miss. Okay. And at Southern Miss, there was a basketball player by the name of Jerichus Singleton. Okay. Now, if you're from Mississippi and you know anything about Mississippi basketball, Jerichus Singleton was one of the best basketball players to come through the state of Mississippi in the early 2000s. Okay. He was a dandy dozen point guard. Now, he got recruited by numerous schools, but Southern Miss got him. Southern Miss got him in a great class in which Southern Miss, which was at that time led by a coach by the name of James Green. Coach Green was able to get not only Jerichus Singleton, who was a Danny Dozen, and Danny Dozen, for those of y'all that are outside the state of Mississippi, that means that he was one of the top 12 players in high school basketball. So Southern Miss got him. They got a brother by the name of Sam Richardson. Okay, and I played against Sam. Okay, me and him were in the same district in high school. Okay, my team defeated his team in the district tournament his senior year. So I know all about Sam Richardson. He was a stud. Okay, Southern Miss got him as well. And they were able to get another great player named Jason Forte. Okay, all these guys were dandy dozens. So they went in to Southern Miss as a part of this great class. James Green later on ended up getting fired though. Okay. And the next coach that came in was a man by the name of Larry Eustace. Okay. If you're not familiar with college basketball, Larry Eustace really made a big name for himself in the Big 12. You know what I'm talking about? He was coach of the year there with Iowa State. But he had a scandal, and he ended up, talking about getting let go. Came down to Southern Miss to get his reputation together. Okay, but when he came to Southern Miss, at this time, if you wanted to transfer, your coach left. Ain't you ain't got these rules in place, so it ain't like Forte and Richardson and Jerikas could just dip out because they were gonna have to go sit out. So of course they didn't want to do that. So they played on the Larry Station, and with this guy not being the coach that had brought them in, and it didn't work. Okay, now I end up becoming partners with Jerikas, and I call him Reek Dog. Okay, so from here on out, I'm gonna call him Reek Dog. Okay, Reek Dog end up coming off the bench. And I'm talking about this man could hoop, but he didn't fit what this new coach was trying to do. Okay, so that hurt his career. Now Reek ended up transferring, but again, without these rules in place, he couldn't transfer to another Division One school because he was going to have to sit out. And of course, he didn't want to do that, so he transferred to a D2 school, a little school in Hattiesburg called William Carey. And over there at William Carey, Reek ended up being, if I'm not mistaken, the D2 Player of the Year. Okay. Ended up having a shot, in some tryouts, some NBA trials, but I think he ended up some kind of injury, hampered his chances. Okay, but this man was a hooper, and because something out of his control with his coach getting fired. Now I guess maybe you can argue, oh, if you ain't want your coach to get fired, you could have played well, but man, them guys were just getting into the program for real, ain't like they were juniors and seniors and stuff like that, and the coach got fired. So they ain't Coach Green ain't even get a chance to really let that recruiting class flourish, and turn into something before he got fired. So that put these guys in a fucked up position. Okay. And to the point where Reek had to transfer and go D2. All right. Now he still ended up being successful. In my opinion, he's the best blues singer in the country right now. Go check him out. If you see him, you find out that he's coming to your city, you need to pull up. He's amazing live, and he got albums out and everything like that. I'm a fan. So shout out to Jerika Singleton. Okay. But I think that's fucked up what happened to him in his career back then. Okay. So I do think it's good that if a coach leaves, that a player can transfer if they choose to. That's a good thing. But let's look at the bad. The bad thing about the transfer portal is that coaches who are rising up through the coaching ranks, they can use the transfer portal as like a get out of jail free card for recruits. So they can tell a recruit, like, hey, I know we had, I know you're hearing rumors that I might not be at this school much longer, but it doesn't matter. If I go somewhere, you're going to be able to roll with me, so you might as well come on. And for the player, that's good. You attach yourself to somebody you want to play for. You feel me? But that alienates the fan base. That does. Especially if you're a booster. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine if you opening up your checkbook and you contributing to these NIL collectives, or you doing some of this under the table money. You know, somebody that that shit still go on. That still go on. So if you investing money in kids, but then really the kid only there for the damn coach, or even if you just investing your time and energy in your fandom in this player, and they really just there for the coach, they really don't give a fuck about the institution. They just paying lip service to the institution. You know what I'm talking about? That alienates your fan base. You've seen that with the Prime situation. Y'all know goddamn well that's what happened with Prime, that he probably told Travis Hunter, man, you can come here to Jack State. Yeah, I'm probably going to be out in a little while, but you can just come on with me. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't the only one that's doing that, and he ain't the only one that's going to be doing that. Hell, another bad thing about it though is when you got some of these kids who turn up at a lower level, maybe a mid-major school or something like that, or maybe if it's football, FCS or something like that, and you progress them, you cultivate them as a coach. You know what I'm talking about? You're molding them as a coach, and then this bigger program swoops in after they've seen their production increase and they snatch them from you. It's a lot of bad shit going on with that transfer portal. That is wild, wild west. But let's look at the ugly. The ugly is the main reason I want to talk about this. Okay. And this is not specific to Mr. Gaddy or Mr. Wilkerson or any goddamn body. This just really what I've been thinking about in general as I've been seeing all this news from around the country about the transfer portal, particularly after this NFL draft. And it's this. Most of these guys are transferring, trying to find a way to find the right spot to get them to the NFL. But sadly for them, most of the guys and girls, and we talking about other collegiate sports as well, most of them ain't going nobody professional league anyway. Especially not the upper echelon, especially not the NBA, WNBA, NFL. Most of them ain't going. They're just not. And so they're transferring, looking for that spot that's going to make them get drafted. If I just go there, oh, they're not paying attention to me over here, so I need to go somewhere where they're going to pay attention to me. Your ass could be at Alabama and Georgia and might not get drafted. Alabama and Georgia both had 10 respectively get drafted. I'm sure they had more players than that were draft eligible. Just being 100. Most kids don't make it to the fucking pros. It's hard. It's hard. But let's look at this. And this is something I shared in another segment entitled Brown v. Board of Education, the SEC and HBCUs. Check that out if you missed it, okay? But this basically breaks down by school who had the draft picks, okay? Again, the SEC was the number one conference with 62 draftees, okay? Alabama and Georgia were tied for the most with 10 apiece, okay? But I'm looking at, but like I said, even with that, you still got a whole lot of draft eligible kids that didn't get drafted from those schools. Florida had 6, LSU had 6, Tennessee 5, Auburn 5, South Carolina 5, Ole Miss 4, Kentucky 3, and Texas A&M 3, Arkansas 2, Mississippi State 2, Missouri 1. Okay, that's the SEC. So for some of those kids at Missouri, you can be in the SEC and still only one motherfucker from the team got drafted. Okay? Or look at, I can come to the Big Ten. A school like Nebraska. Nebraska is a blue blood program historically. It is. Nebraska Cornhuskers, 2 players drafted. 2. This shit ain't no guarantee. It's not. I can come to the ACC. Okay? Come to the ACC, you take a school like, I don't know, Virginia Tech. When I was coming up, Virginia Tech was a power. You know, that Michael Vick school. 1 goddamn draftee. I go to Big 12. Take a school like Baylor. Baylor was rolling for a while there. Remember that? That's RG3 school. 1 draftee. Texas Tech. That's Patrick Mahomes' school, the current reigning Super Bowl champion, the motherfucker that's on a GOAT arc. His alma mater, one draftee. Coming to the Pac-12, Cal, where Aaron Rodgers went. You know, he in the news real big now. We just went to the Jets. Okay? One draftee. One. Come on, man. You go to some of them group of 5 schools. None of them have a school that had more than 4. And I'm telling you, I know they got more draft eligible players than that. This shit's hard. The shit's hard. Notre Dame, which is undoubtedly a blue blood program, only had 3. It is hard. You come to the FCS, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, the darlings, the blue bloods of the FCS, 1 apiece. It is hard. Okay? Well, let's look at this. This is written by a brother named Adam Robinson. Okay? He was writing for Syracuse University. Okay? And this comes from last July, so July 2022. He says, there are around 1.1 million football players that compete in high schools. Only 6.5% get a chance to play in NCAA Division 1, 2, and 3. Hold on now. Hold on now. It gets deeper. Of those who are lucky enough to make it to college football, only 1.6% make it to the NFL. I'm going to repeat that shit. Of those who are lucky enough to make it to college football, only 1.6% make it to the NFL. The primary reason is the players' roster, as there are only 350 positions available in the draft. Each team in the NFL has a squad of 53 players. That ain't a lot of jobs, y'all, which makes 1,700 players in total. Considering this, the number of spots at the top is minimal. It's estimated that only 1 in 1,282 high school football players gets drafted. Excuse me. A high school football season lasts approximately 10 weeks, and there are 50 to 60 players per team, which means there's a 50% chance that a high school football player will never face or play with a future professional. Shout out to Mr. Robinson. I think that shit right there needs to be read to a lot of motherfuckers. Because some people need a wake-up call. And they got to understand, all y'all ain't going no fucking NFL. You're not. I am not one of these people who lies to young people. I'm not. One of the things I do is motivational speaking. I've given a speech called the Excellence Formula. and part of that speech, I say, I'm not going to lie to you and say you can be whatever you want to be. That's a lie. If that was the case, hell, I'd be in the league right now with LeBron. I'm 38, he 38. But I'm not 6'9". I'm 6 feet tall. God gave him that shit. God gave him the prerequisite to be in the NBA. 6'9", 260 pounds, jump out the gym, run like the wind. He where he need to be. So what I challenge young people to do is find out what their true ability is, bust their motherfucking asses, and then they will be successful. Ability plus effort equals excellence. That's what I tell them. But see, when you come at young people like that. A lot of time they think you're hating on them. A lot of time they think you just don't believe in them. But facts are facts. Facts are facts. But first, why are you talking about this? I'm talking about this because it's ugly out here that you got these kids jumping from school to school, thinking that their previous school or the previous coach or the previous coaching staff, these folks ain't helping me get to the league. When goddamn it, you just might not have what it takes to get there. And that's okay. It's okay. It really is. You might have enough to go on and become one of the greatest coaches. You might need to go be an OC or a DC. Maybe you need to go overseas and play. Maybe you play in the XFL or the USFL or something like that. Maybe you have another path that ain't got shit to do with sports. Maybe you can use your athletic talent to pay for your ass a degree so you can go get some money another way where your ass don't have to get concussions and get your knees fucked up and all that kind of shit. Maybe it's something else. But that part, that something else, that growing the young person, that educating the young person, that shit is getting lost right now. That shit's getting lost. Because everybody just want to hop. Let me try to go get where I think I'm going to get to the league. And I just showed you. There's a lot of motherfuckers on these on Alabama and Clemson and Georgia and Ohio State and them that ain't get drafted either. They didn't. I watched damn near the whole draft. I was seeing motherfuckers in the 7th round get picked who were all Americans. I was seeing folks in the 7th round get picked who were semifinalists for national awards. That's how fucking hard it is. It's hard. Now, if you truly think you got the measurables, you got the work ethic, you got the tape to make it, you know that God gave you what you need to make it. You know it without a doubt. Go ahead, do your thing then. But like, look at Mr. Bolden, who got drafted from Jackson State University. That man ran a fucking 4.3, jumped 40 inches for his vertical, goddammit. Got the build. He got all the shit you can't teach. Bill Belichick can teach him the other shit. Bill Belichick can't teach no goddamn 4.3. But we got some guys out here, you undersized or your tape ain't look worth shit. But you think folks hating on you. You think this coaching staff hating on you. Trust me, we get it on the high school level. As coaches, well, we get blamed for everything. Well, we're the reason why some kid didn't make it to college because we didn't play them enough, or we didn't utilize them in the right way and all that kind of shit. When oftentimes it's just that the kid ain't have it. 99% of the time, it's the kid just didn't have it. Because that's nonsensical for a coach just to hate on you. Hell, if your ass can ball, me putting you out there gonna make me look good. Why wouldn't I want you to ball? But that shit's missing. The self-accountability. It's missing. And it's making kids make some decisions that might turn out to be poor. Again, I'm not talking about Mr. Gatter, Mr. Wilkerson in particular. I'm talking about the landscape as a whole. That's what I'm talking about. It's hard, y'all. I don't give a damn if your ass at a HBCU. or if you're in the SEC. Think about that. The SEC had the most draftees, true enough. They had 62 motherfuckers get drafted. How many draft eligible kids did the SEC have, though? How many kids on these schools in this SEC thought had their mama, their daddy, their cousins, the motherfuckers in their hood telling them, oh, you going to the league. I know my boy going to the league. Woo, woo. He played ball for Georgia. He played ball for Alabama. He played ball for Mississippi State. He played ball for LSU. Woo, woo. How many? They just knew they were going. 62 out of how many? The Big Ten, 55 out of how many? ACC, 32 draftees out of how many? How many were draft eligible? We ain't looking at that part. This shit's hard. It's hard. So if you're going to be a part of that 1-2%, that makes it. Make sure you truly got the measurables that the motherfuckers in that league looking for. Make sure you got the tape that the motherfuckers in that league looking for. Make sure you got the character now. Your ass can't be from one of these small schools and have some of the baggage that some of these big school boys got. Who was that kid? The Georgia kid with Carter. I don't even know what that kid did. I just know the folks had question marks surrounding them. If you come from one of these smaller schools, you can't be having that. Can't be having nobody questioning your character, whether your ass don't want to come to practice, don't want to hit the weights yet. Bullshit when it comes to study hall. You had a situation where the coaches had to cover up. You can hit your girlfriend. Coaches had to pay for an abortion for your motherfucking ass. You know what I'm talking about? All kind of shit that be going on. You can't have it. It's hard. It's hard. The two best basketball players I ever coached right now are not in the league. The Weatherspoon brothers. Quindare Weatherspoon, he was in the league. He was on the Warriors championship team last year. He's not in the league this year. Not in the NBA. He's playing professionally, but not in the NBA. His younger brother, Nick Weatherspoon, in my opinion, is better than him. Just naturally a better athlete than him. He didn't get drafted. That shit, it's hard. And they both played at Mississippi State under Ben Howland, who coached in 3 Final Fours, coached Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, all that kind of shit. Quindare was a 4-year player and got drafted in the 2nd round. Nick was a 3-year player after being a 5-star point guard coming out of high school, went undrafted. It's hard. It's hard. No matter where you fucking are, it's hard. So if you feel like you got it, go get it. But you're going to have to do that wherever you are. But what I want y'all young people to do is to not forget about who's helping to grow you as a person, who's educating you. Are you paying attention to these professors that you're being exposed to? Are you becoming young men? Are you learning how to handle finances? Are you learning about taxes? Are you learning about loans and credit? Are you setting yourself up for a next career? Because best case scenario, let's say you're at Tom Brady. Play till you 45 years old. Your life expectancy is mid 70s, late 70s, or if you're a woman, the early 80s. You got a whole lot more life to live. But if you're playing football, the average career in football is 3 years. Do you want to be one of these motherfuckers that be on the second installment of that broke documentary when you go get the money, but because your ass ain't learned nothing, you lost it all. You didn't surround yourself with people who are gonna pour into you in terms of your morals and your ethics. So now again, you made it to the league. But you got no morals, you got no ethics about you. Now you can spread your seed around. You got all these baby mamas and they just eating up your money. Please think about all this. Think about all this. Because again, there's good, there's bad, but there's ugly to this transfer portal. And I don't want y'all young people to get fucked up behind the ugly part of it. All right? Put it on something.
Thank you so much for watching my daddy's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, and turn on your post notifications. Okay, how do I do it?